Okay, get out that big old Lodge skillet and let's make a pineapple upside down cake. So I've got this heating up on the stove at a medium heat, and I've got a half of stick of salted butter, and I'm just going to put that in that big old iron skillet. And I've already got my oven heating at 350 degrees. Take these pineapple slices, and I have a measuring cup sitting here, and I've got a strainer sitting on top of that. And I'm just going to pour those into that strainer while that butter is melting. Let those be draining a little bit. Keep the juice from the pineapples. Do not throw it away. While that butter is melting, I'm getting my brown sugar, and it's just light brown sugar. It's the kind I use all the time. I think I got this at Aldi's. And I'm going to get a half of a cup of the brown sugar. Let this butter continue to melt. If you all have not had a pineapple upside down cake, I'm just telling you, you're missing out. They're good for like 3 days after you fix them. If they last that long, nobody's ate them. But I'm just kind of stirring up my butter here. Not letting it get too hot and getting it melted down. When that gets melted down and the whole bottom of my skillet is covered, I'm going to put that half a cup of brown sugar in there and just whisk that in. Break it up. Some of that had some hard little lumps in it, but it's okay. So keep breaking that up and stirring that in. And you think, oh gosh, what a mess I've made right here. It's all clumped together and it's going to be bad. But it's going to caramelize as I'm stirring it up. I say stirring here in Hancock County. But as I'm stirring it up, it's going to get more caramelized and become more of a melted mixture. So I just keep whisking it till I know that I've got all the brown sugar beat up good. Knocking my whisk off, and I'm going to get a spoon here, and I'm going to just kind of place it all over the bottom of the pan. And I've still got my heat on. I've turned it down to a medium low, but I'm just going to kind of place that brown sugar and butter mixture all over the bottom of my skillet. Just kind of get it placed out. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to continue to melt down and become more liquefied and less of a solid. So that pineapple juice is going to cook into that too. So it's going to be fine. Just get it placed out as evenly as you can. I'm going to start placing the pineapple rings, and there's no perfect way of doing this. Just place them in there and make them look pretty, because you are going to flop this over in a little bit and it's going to be beautiful. Now, a family from the church I go that my husband pastors at asked me to make a video of how I make my pineapple upside down cake. So this is going out to them, the Russell family. So I've got a jar of maraschino cherries. Just going to pop those open. Count how many pineapple rings I have. That's what I'm doing. So I can get enough of those out to drain. And I'm just going to put those in the same drainer I had my pineapples straining in. I think there was 8. And then I got 9 out because I wanted to eat one. And then you're just going to seal up your jar and put that back in the refrigerator for the next time. Place in the center of each pineapple ring a maraschino cherry. It doesn't have to be perfect and to be pretty. I'm not sure. I think this is just an old southern dish. But I'm telling you, it's so good. It's so good when you first get it out of the oven. It's good hot. It's good cold. Either way, it's just amazing. So here I've got a can of crushed pineapple. And I started to scoop it with a spoon, but then I've decided I'm just going to pour it in the drainer too and drain some of the juice out of it. And then, excuse me, I'm going to fill around each of the pineapple rings, the open areas. Just spoon some of that in and kind of move it around until I get that whole area filled in. You don't have to do this. This is optional. I like a lot of pineapple, and I like that taste. I like that caramelized pineapple taste it gives you. So I fill in around my rings with crushed pineapple. And just keep doing this, even on the edges, until you get all of that filled in. Okay, here I've got it all filled in. I'm just doing some finishing touches around the edges. You can move your pineapple rings around if you like them more symmetrical than I've got mine. I do move this one. I scoot it over just a little bit because I did notice it wasn't in the middle. And it's easy at this point. So here I'm going to make my batter. And I just take a Betty Crocker yellow cake mix. And I'm going to follow the directions on the back except for the water part. And I'll tell you what I do. I'll take the yellow cake mix and I'm going to pour it into a big bowl. And you notice I've saved the pineapple juice. And you can tell it's a little pink tinge from the maraschino cherries. But it's not going to matter, I promise. So dump your cake mix into a bowl. And I've got a measuring cup. And I'm going to put a cup, not hardly a cup, of the pineapple juice. I'm going to add about 3/4 cup of pineapple juice that I just saved from the cans. But here's what I do a little different than most. I take whole buttermilk. I forgot to put it in front of the camera so you could see. But I'm about 1/4 cup of the buttermilk. I'm just finishing off that measuring cup to a full cup with buttermilk. And I'm going to add that in. I'm going to do 3 eggs. And I'm going to do 1/3 of a cup of the oil, just like it said on the back of the box. Again, the only difference is I'm not going to use water. I'm using 3/4 cup of pineapple juice that I saved from the cans and 1/4 cup of buttermilk. And then I'm just going to take my mixer and just beat that till it's well mixed. And I do recommend that you beat it pretty good. You know, I love this mixer for these type of things. I've got a KitchenAid and I love it. Don't get me wrong, I use it all the time. But I really like this little hand mixture with the little whisk blade for things like this. I think it does good. I just love it, and it's easier to clean up and easier to put away as well. But make sure you scrape the side of the bowl, get all that mixed up really good. And it's going to be a little bit of a thicker batter than you normally put in a cake, just a little bit. And I'm just checking at the bottom here and around the edges to make sure that I don't have any powder left in the bottom of the bowl. Just mixing that really good. Take that apart, throw it in this kitchen sink. And there's my skillet, still warm from being on the stove. And I'm going to add that whole bowl of batter right on top. And I don't dump it in super fast, which it's kind of thick, so it does help it from moving all your pineapple rings around. And just make sure you scrape every bit of that in there. And then kind of place it. Make sure you get an even layer all over your pineapple rings on the bottom. And you can see it's still a little warm. And remember, I've already got my oven preheated to 350. I forgot to show you me dumping it out. Well, here it is, me dumping it out. And I don't know how I got these videos messed up, but I did somehow. But there you go. And I'm telling you, it's delicious. It's wonderful. And I put it on wax paper or parchment paper, and I'm just going to trim that back to the edges. And I've got this metal little cake stand I use. You don't have to put it on the parchment paper. I just think it makes it easier to clean up. I'm just trimming it away with my kitchen scissors. And I let this cool. I taste of it while it's hot, but then I let it cool, and then we'll serve it. But enjoy. Thank you guys.